Hello and welcome to the Troyiverse. It is Sunday, March 29th. Good to have y'all back on episode 25. Wow, we're here. We're here. So much has happened. It's so. It's funny because this was not supposed to start off for the last 5+ episodes to be a news, correspondence, or just the fact of being all right, we're gonna talk about updates on what's happening in America. But yeah, man, it's been crazy. So I can't even remember the last week. It's been so much stuff happening. So now the TSA workers are now being paid finally after almost a month, if not a little bit over a month. I can't remember. The numbers are skewed on how long it's been regarding how long they weren't getting paid and the amount of people that had to resign or quit their jobs because of the fact that they couldn't even make it to work because they weren't being paid. Although they were able to send paid ICE workers to work next to the TSA agents that weren't getting paid to disrupt and terrorize and abduct and kidnap American citizens, because you have to be documented. You have to have your documentation, ID, passport, something. It's not like illegals are yeah, let's leave this war-torn area that we're trying to flee from and just catch a flight to America. All the racist ass propaganda machine bullshit that my roommate be watching because they're Christian based always show how undocumented immigrants or these quote unquote illegal individuals, which makes no sense because there's no borders anywhere that is not man-made. I mean, let's be real, the only line on earth that we can all agree on is that the equator is the center of the earth, and the equator runs through Africa. But besides that line, or I guess the secondary line would be the ice wall of the Atlantic, but besides that other border, besides that, there's no borders. Once again, like I said before, Operation No Borders, because I know too many people outside of my own hue that are just human beings that are just trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do, which is live a comfortable, safe, secure life. A life where I can have joy, peace, and happiness without anybody infringing on my own civil liberties and civil rights and civil peace. That's all I want. The people that I know that aren't my hue, that I've talked to, that's what they want. The friends and new soul family and tribe that I am acquiring, that we are making a lot of great efforts and bounds with the Arms of the Phoenix and that movement as well. It's a lot of just people wanting to be able to live, people wanting to be able to be comfortable being themselves, people wanting to be able to have the space to stretch themselves out in whatever capacity that it is to keep themselves safe, as well as to be comfortable in the skin that they're in. I mean, come on, we have still to this day murders of people of my hue, people of my complexion, people of my culture being hung in these southern rural areas. They're having their intestines and their organs removed in these areas while being hung, and still the police force, or the air quotes law that resides in those places, are still saying there is no foul play, because that's what people do. People hang themselves from tree. Black people hang themselves from tree, and then we remove our intestines while we're hanging ourselves. Oh wait, no. We remove our intestines first, and then we hang ourselves because we don't need intestines to still operate our bodies so that we can hang ourselves. What fucking sense does that make? I swear to God, I can't wait till all these goddamn parasites are fucking gone. I can't wait because this shit is ridiculous. Like. And it's not just the colonizers that are parasites. There are people that are my own hue, because you know what the old saying is, all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. And it's so daunting watching and seeing so many different individuals be so clueless about the happenings of the world and just becoming sheep. I've been saying this for decades. Like, people are sheeple, and that's why that's exactly why I don't want to be here anymore in the civilization. I want to go to Canada, and I am going to go to Canada. I'm just going to live in the woods. Just like my favorite comic book fictional character, Wolverine, just goes off in the Canada woods for like months on end because y'all people are weird. Like, civilization itself is weird. I've always felt that way. I've always felt civilization was the standpoint or foundation of cowards. Like, the whole fact of we having people going out in the world and foraging and making way for themselves, and then you have others who are just rotten people that want to steal, rape, and kill like that. And then you have those other people that's outside of those other two groups that are just be like, I'm afraid because I can't protect myself. But it's a stronger group in numbers, and if we stay if we stay in a large group of numbers, then those second groups of A is not going to bother us because the second group that was in the B column is not going to fucking hurt us because it's too many of us in column C, and the ones in column A are not around because they just don't want to be bothered with column B or C. And that's where I'm at. I'm column A. Like, I just want to be away from y'all, because if it's not the column B people of just being just horrible, just the elites, if you will, the elites of eating babies, the raping babies, raping children, raping adults, eating people, killing people just unjustifiably, and just feeling like they're okay to do it because of fucking they want to say some dumbass fucking idea of saying, well, they're doing it to themselves. Why can't we do it? It's so it's so weird. It's so weird. It's always been weird. Even with the whole fact of these motherfucking white motherfuckers always want to say the nigga words. Like, just because you want to say nigga and you can't say nigga without getting punched in the fucking face, don't mean that you being oppressed. This is why you want to say the word. It's so weird. We all know why you want to say a word, because the word got power. And the fact that y'all got that power stripped from y'all, now y'all feel fucked up. And it's so funny because it's like y'all still have systematic racism in y'all favor, which is now starting to fucking just implode in y'all fucking faces. Thank goodness. Like, here's the thing. Regardless of what you feel or how you feel about like other countries or about the continent of fucking Africa and Ghana, and the fact that Ghana literally came in, it was like, yo, the transatlantic slave fucking movement was fucking horrific. It was the gravest crime against humanity known to civilization. And they finally, in the UN, was allowed to put a vote to this motherfucking atrocity. And it finally got acknowledged by 120 plus people saying, yeah, this is some fucked up shit. Then you got those other pieces of shit that was in the fucking 53 plus countries. Fuck you fucking 53 countries that would have abstained from answering if it was an atrocity or not. Fuck y'all. And especially fuck, of course, the big three: America, Israel, and I can't even remember, Argentina? I don't know, I'm not sure, but America, Israel, fuck y'all. We already know y'all pieces of shit because y'all started this dumbass war, which y'all fucking losing. How y'all fucking losing the war y'all fucking started yourselves? Y'all, you know what that is? That's like watching an anime and watching, like, you know what? I'll use bleach. It's like Ichigo coming in, and the two main fucking bosses be like, yeah, they gonna beat the brakes off this piece of bullshit, Ichigo and shit. And then Ichigo come out and be like, oh no, Bunkai, and just start fucking them up. Not like, here's the thing, I'm not even trying to support Iran, but the fact of the matter is, when it comes down to it, it's funny as fuck. Like, y'all, Israel was fucking carpet bombing Gaza. Sorry, I kept saying Gaza before. Apparently, the proper way is saying Gaza. You know, gotta like put a whole H in the G instead of like the G. But they was carpet bombing Gaza, and everybody was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And they was like, "What do you mean, what the fuck? This is our holy land to do this." Is what is not real was saying and shit like that. It's our holy land to do this. Blah blah blah. Now they want to go and start up a secondary thing, and was like, "Hey, America, you want to join in on this?" And dumbass fucking orange piece of shit was like, "Yeah, Epstein files is out, and everybody keep talking about that. Let's talk about this. Let's make some news. Let's make some news. That's what this piece of shit did. Let's make some news." And then he started a fucking war, and then the audacity of when they like, yeah, this is fucking illegal. This is an illegal war. They like, oh no, we're not calling it a war no more. We're gonna call it operation. It's operation now. Bitch, it's the same fucking thing. And the fucking funny thing is, regardless of going back to the war or not, and going on the Epstein files or not, the funny fucking thing about this whole thing, where America, the representative for the U.S., actually was like, we're not going to acknowledge stuff that was legal in that time to try to placate or to spend money and fees to individuals that it did not, blah 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 blah, all that fucking bullshit. First off, y'all fucking started a dumbass fucking war, and your dumbass fucking president asked for fucking millions of fucking dollars. He picked the fucking debt in trillions of dollars because of this war alone, and he asked it for more millions of dollars, and y'all still like, no, we don't got money for that. Y'all never got money for shit except for the conquests that y'all pieces of shit always trying to fucking do. And now y'all losing. Now y'all fucking losing. Ha ha. Good. I'm glad. Because guess what? I got my gas. I'm cool. My gas tank is still full. And it will stay full. Because anytime that shit go off and fucking full, I'm putting more gas in there. And that'll be, okay, like 3 fucking 90 something a gallon. But it's not going past a gallon no more. Because I'm not letting it go past fucking... I'm not going to let it pass half of between a quarter and a full tank. It's not going down that low anymore. Fuck that. Everybody else got stuff for trying to like worry about putting extra gas in at the empty tank. Not me. Guys, of that shit is fucking hilarious. So I am also going to be looking into making sure that when I get my passport and everything, I'm making sure I pinpoint all of the 120 plus countries that voted yes, slavery was an atrocity and it was the most horrific, grievous fucking crimes to humanity. I'm making sure I pinpoint all those countries and say those are the places I'm going to look at visiting, because those are places that can acknowledge the fucking fact that, yeah, fucked up shit happened. It's time to atone. It's time to take accountability. It's time to fucking grow the fuck up and move on. But we can't move on if we can't acknowledge what fucking happened and then make some type of reparations. You cannot bitch and cry and say, no, we can't give blacks reparations because blah, 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 when y'all still are giving It's Not Real all this fucking money because of the fucking Holocaust. Fuck that shit. I'm done. It's no other way to fucking... I'm done. And here's the thing about it. I never really cared about the colonizers. I never really cared about the unwashed racists, because when it comes down to it, nobody that doesn't know how to use a wash rag is going to make me scared of them. Like, I'm scared of the germs that's on you more so than I'm scared of you. That's the reason why I stay away from colonizers. Don't get me wrong, there are some white people, and here's the thing, two are not mutually exclusive. You can be a racist and know how to use a wash rag, and you can be an ally and not know how to use a wash rag. They're not mutually exclusive. However, when it comes down to it, I it's not like you could go on a date and on the first date ask the question, "Hey, do you?" So I mean, you can. You honestly can. You should honestly, realistically, you should be like, "Hey, do you use a wash rack?" When you that should be the first question anybody should ask anybody that is ally or colonizer. I don't care at this point. Like, just hey, you know what a wash rag is, and do you use it? Matter of fact, when you jump into a pool, do you shower after you jump into the pool, or is jumping into the pool you washing up? Because I've heard so many colonizers, so many racist pieces of shit say that. Be like, oh, the kids just jumped in the pool. They don't got to wash up today. This is why you can't get into every single pool that is a public pool. And you definitely can't get in every single pool that is with a bunch of mixed people involved in it. Point blank fair. That's the funniest thing. What I have to say about it is, it was when I watched. It was a person revolving around the topic of segregation and stuff like that, and it was so funny. I can't remember if this was like the Boondocks or this was from a real thing that the Boondocks like parodied or something like that. But when it was a black activist, older gentleman, and he was just talking about, it could have been a comedy skit too, it could have been from somewhere, but he was talking about how he was fighting for equality. He was fighting to sit at the table, and when he finally was able to sit at the table and eat their food, he was like, "This is what we fought for. This shit is nasty. This shit is disgusting. Why did we fight? Get hosed down, get dogs sick and attacked on us, get shot at, get hugged, all that just for this nasty ass food? I might as well go home. I might as well eat what I got at home because it's much better." It's so like that, and that's where it's at right now. I don't care about the commonality of society and where we're at now. People keep trying to say we want to go back to how it was. I don't care. I don't care. You know, the best time I had, don't get me wrong, I had fun with everybody, with anybody of any race, because that's just who I am. One of my favorite times, I think I mentioned it before, was singing "We Were Young" at Fado's, the Irish bar in Center City. And it was me, it was my brother's best friend brother at the time, and it was just like, we was there, and we just was the whole bar. We was drunk, we was all arm to arm. It was everybody of all these different races, black, Asian, white, Hispanic. It was just it was a smorgasbord. It was America to its core. It was a great time. I actually met me and him. We met the Philadelphia Orchestra at the time. When they was in Philly, when during their concert or stuff like that. After they was done, they came to Fado's, and they was just like letting their hair down and just drinking and hanging out. And we just hanging out with them, just talking to them. It was a great night. Met a lot of cool people there. Realistically, I was kind of like Barney Stinson there. It was before How I Met Your Mother. I was kind of Barney Stinson at Fado's. It was amazing. It was a good time. I'm not saying that I want to promote that type of behavior, because once again, similar to Barney, I had a daughter, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a better individual because of that. Yes, that is the case. That's the case with a lot of men and a lot of women. When they have children, they say, "Hey, I have to be better and not perpetuate the same stereotypes or the same things that I used to do before I brought this beautiful child into the world. Let me be a better idea or a better spark or a better fucking model of society so that I could teach my child to be better than I was when I was, younger." So yeah, I acknowledge that, and I remember the worst time, because usually I would just say whatever. I would just be like, "This is who I am," because I used to go by, like, my name was Mike. At a certain point, I would be like, "Yeah, Mike," because I didn't think I was going to see them ever again, and I knew I probably was going to see most of them ever again. So a lot of people just know. A lot of people, if they see my face, they probably be like, "That's Mike. Why is he calling himself Troy?" Anyway, the worst and funniest time was when I literally was like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually in med school," because I'm actually going to start doing surgery, brain surgery like that. I'm like, and so the girl was like, "Oh, that's funny, because my friend is actually in that school, that surgery." And I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Do you know what?" She's like, "No, I don't." I was like, "Neither do I." And I turned around and started drinking my beer like nothing happened. It's the funniest thing ever. But yeah, the fact of the matter is, taking accountability, understanding, yeah, I used to be the essential real life Barney Stinson, and it was a great time for me. And I have had my walk around the world, if you will, to apologize to a lot of the people that I could get back in contact with, and being like, "Hey, if I hurt you in any way, my bad. I apologize." A lot of people I did a couple of laps around with, because they was like, "No, we had a great night. It sucks that you lied and didn't tell me your real name, but I still enjoy what we did, and we can still do it again." And a lot of people I did, like, do some laps with a couple of times. It was great. But regardless, when it comes down to it, because I'm going to segue now into, again, stuff that I learned when I was, like, dating and, like, being out there in the world. Like, the reason why I stopped, and actually it was before I actually had my daughter and stuff like that. The reason why I stopped being the quintessential Barney Stinson archetype was because I really was like, you know what, it's not great for me to be building all these connections, physical connections, granted, but if I do want to eventually have a real suitable, caring relationship, something that is different from all the years that I've been involved in recently, of just whoring around and just being the antithesis of just, I mean, I wasn't a slut for money, even though a lot of women did give, not a lot, I'm not going to say a lot, I would say 4% of the women would give me money, offer me money, or just throw money under the bed. I literally had a woman throw money under my bed after we had sex, after we had coitus. Never asked. I never was on. I was never an escort, even though I could have been. I think I probably would have made out a lot better if I was an escort. But anyway, I was never an escort. I never was a prostitute or like that. But at the same time, women just felt happy to give me money after, like, coitus with them occasionally. It was interesting. I was, it was to the point where I had to become even sneakier so that I could put the money back into their purses or their pockets or in their cars or whatever we were engaging in the coitus at. So that I was like, no, it's there, So I would call them up and be like, "Hey, you home safe?" Or when they call me, say they got home safe, I'm like, cool. "Oh, I think I left something for you in your glove compartment or your middle console, or check your purse and blah, 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 this compartment." And they be like, "How the fuck?" And they be like, yeah, like, don't, you don't gotta do that. You don't gotta give me money. Like, it was a mutual, pleasurable thing. I had an orgasm, you had an orgasm, you had multiple orgasms. We came for what we came for. So you don't have to pay me for that. But I did appreciate it. Like, they know I appreciate it, which is great. But I started looking for a deeper connection, and that's when I started trying to strive for finding my one or my people or like that. It was always, of course, my one, because I was still underneath this facade or indoctrination of the whole, archetype of you can only have one person that you're with. Even though, like I said, I started as a 5-year-old in kindergarten with other 5-year-olds and having 2 girlfriends, because they asked me to be their boyfriends. So even though I still had that knowledge in the back of my head, just, being like, this is where it's at, I still was perpetuated by the things I watched on TV, the video games that I played, the comic books that I read. Because, I mean, going into the concept of Wolverine and how he was, like, Wolverine's a huge whore. Like, Wolverine was the archetype of whoreness. Like, all he did, which was literally all I did in my 20s, was smoke, drink beer or alcohol, and fuck. And get into fucking adventures. Just random adventures with different groups of people that I call friends and acquaintances, and had these amazing stories that came out of it. And that was quintessential to me mirroring my archetype of Wolverine at the time. And that's all I did until I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Wolverine settles down for a while. Like, Wolverine actually finds, somebody he really loves and cares about. And then, of course, Sabretooth would come up and kill her and, or kill them and during Wolverine's birthday, which was also something that I would get melancholied about around my birthday. Around, like, any holiday, around birthdays, Christmas, yada yada, I would just get melancholy. And it was, once again, an archetype of the Wolverine archetype that I was following. But yeah, it was in feeling that way and looking for my person or my people. It was a thing of looking at these archetypes and these weird dynamics of people saying, oh, you can only be with one person because that's what monogamy is, and we only worry about monogamy in this type of standpoint of this type of reality, even though outside of this concept of monogamy, of these different shows and movies and books and literature and songs and yada yada yada, like, I knew for a fact that you can have multiple people that you could be with that could be in a loving, caring relationship, like communitive relationship of respect and just understanding. I just now had to try to find the right people to be in that type of scenario with. But the number one thing that I had to make sure I had to do for myself was learn how to heal what I was hurt in, as well as not to perpetuate another cycle of pain onto these people that I want to live with for the rest of my life, if I choose, or if they choose to indulge me in those regards. And that started with me no longer lying, no longer trying to manipulate. And because that's what it was lying to manipulate to get what I want, so that, even regardless if I felt and I knew and I was confirmed in the fact that these individuals that I was with were still achieving maximum orgasmic satisfaction, it was still wrong for me to start out this proposal, this relationship, or this endeavor with lies and manipulation. So my whole thing was, be real, be honest. If I can be myself and show them who I am without having to lie or manipulate, and I still am able to receive the coitus that I was originally receiving anyway, then there's no reason for me to continue this asshole narrative of being basically Barney Stinson. And so that's basically where I started going. I started getting to a point where I was not lying. I was telling people my name is Troy. I was telling people this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm into. And it allowed me even greater sense of self, because the fact that, yeah, not everybody was like into it. And I'm like, it's not like, oh yeah, my popularity poll stayed in the same area where it was when I was manipulating and lying and telling people my name was Mike. But it didn't drop that far. It was like, if you say it was like in a 80 percentile rating, it definitely went to like a 75 or like low 70, but it wasn't like, it was like, oh, this shit plummeted to like 14% or some shit like that. So I got to an understanding of just being more comfortable in myself and comfortable of knowing that I can genuinely be me and authentically be me, and people are like they reciprocate that. They were like, oh, I like that, like, and let me show you who I am. But it was always a thing where, regardless of if we were 100% compatible, which we weren't, or like 19% compatible, it was always a thing of I would learn more about, of course, them, but more about myself. And that allowed me to understand the things that I was capable of, as well as the things that I was able to tolerate, as well as the things that was going to cross my boundaries. And it felt good because I was able to see something more in the world and see something more of myself in this world that I wasn't previously able to see before, because all I was coming from was a hurt-hearted or a wounded-hearted expression of existence, where all I felt was abandoned by everybody. Like, like I said, the first memory before me becoming a triad in kindergarten was my mom leaving me. When I first realized that people have mothers and fathers, I found out what happened to my dad, and it was the fact that he left. And then later on, to come to find out in my 20s, when he did come back, that I had three sisters that had no clue about. And when me and him finally talked, when he met me, and I just basically just listened. I just kind of wanted to hear, like, it was so weird because I think I said this before, but so many people asked me, so many of my acquaintances and friends at the time, and even family members asked, like, what are you going to do when you see him? Like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to yell at him? Or are you going to punch him in the face? Like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, because I don't know. But I do want to have answers. And so that's what I did. I kind of just sat there and I just kind of like let him talk. Because that's the wonderful thing about people. When you sit back and let people talk, then their truth is going to come out. You don't have to add your identity to their truth to coerce them to share what they're going to share. Like, it's so funny, because it was a thing where I realized that it was something that actually happened recently. Not recently, like I think it was like last year, maybe a year and a half ago. But it was the group I played Pathfinder with. I was talking about how I was like, I'm looking forward to getting my daughter back, and also getting in shape and stuff like that. Because I was like, listen, I don't want my daughter to run out in the world, because at that point I was like, I'm still going to be living in Philadelphia when I get my daughter back. And I was like, I don't want her to run out into the streets of Philadelphia and get lost or wrapped up in the wrong group or wrong crowd. So my whole identity has always been, even when I was with her mom, me and her mom agreed about it. It was like we wanted to make sure we were like the party house, because that's what her mom didn't. She had that with one of her friends' houses. Like, one of her friends, one of the stories she told, because she lived in Dover, Delaware. She was telling me how, like, she was like, one of her friends' moms was like the party house. So it was like they could go over there and they could drink, they could smoke, they could like have parties. The mom was there to supervise, even though the mom was either mostly in the road, blacked out, drunk, or like that. But it was one of those things where people was kind of supervised. And then she was like, they tried to do this over another friend's house, and when they did it at another friend's house, I think she said it was another friend's house, she was like, somebody got super drunk to the point where they had to call the ambulance and they had to get their stomach pumped. But in that time when they called the cops, they didn't know, the whole party didn't know that they called the cops. So by the time the cops came, the party was still in full swing. So it had to be a point where they had her and her friends had to like run out the house. They had to run over a fucking fence. I think one of their friends got hurt because they like cut themselves running through her fence or some shit like that. They had to go to the hospital, and it was just a wild night. So she was like, ever since then, they just stayed over the original friend's house where they was always partying at. With the mom was already got it. And I was like, honestly, it sounded like y'all was safer at the mom's crib. That was always the party house instead of going to the new spot. And they was like, yeah, only reason they went to the new spot was because it was a new spot, and they thought it was gonna be something different, yada yada yada. And it turned out into being worse. But that's when she was like, that's what I want to have for our kids. I don't want our kids to go out into the world and we can't supervise or make sure they're okay, and there's something bad or drastic happen. At least she was like, with me, and she was like, I know with you, like, yeah, we're going to keep the kids safe and nothing harmful is going to happen, yada yada yada, so like that. I was like, first of all, I'm not trying to have no other kids other than mine partaking in anything that is illegal, yada yada yada. Like, because I grew up with my mom, my grandparents, my uncles, my aunt, and my cousins, all like that. But I didn't get a drink of liquor until I was 16. So that was, once again, Grand Marnier. And it was only a shot. It wasn't like it was, I had a bottle to myself for Grand Marnier. My uncle had a bottle of Grand Marnier. And he was like, I'm having a shot. You can have a shot with me. And yada, yada, yada. And we took a shot and we watched fucking wrestling at the time. And was eating our, like, oodles and noodles and shit like that. Because that's one of the things. We used to watch wrestling, eat oodles and noodles and a deli sandwich. And when I got older, when I was in my, when I was 21, that's when I started drinking beer and stuff like that. But the first time I had drank was when I was 16. It was a shot of which, actually, technically, the first beer I had was from my grandfather. And we was outside, and I was like, I'm thirsty. I was running around. And let's see my grandpa with his friends drinking beer on the stoop, like, next door. And I was like, I'm thirsty. I'm thinking it was a can of, like, soda, because, you know, in my head, that's all that I knew. Water and soda, and it was in a can, it was soda. So I was like, and my cousin was like, no, don't do it, don't do it. I drank it, and I was like, it's nasty. He's like, good, don't drink it ever again. And I haven't drunk Budweiser ever again. Other beers, hell yeah. But Budweiser, hell no, it's disgusting. But yeah, for me, yeah, if I ever came to the thing where I wanted to make sure my daughter was safe, I would be like, no, I don't want you going out there because I don't know what those kids are doing at their parties, stuff like that. If y'all want to have a party or do something, y'all can do it here, yada yada yada. So I was telling my friends that, and I was like, of course, I want to get yoked. I want to get, like, fucking, like, just in shape. Because I used to be in shape when I was younger. And, like, this is also when I was, like, 8, 9, or like that. I was, like, baby Gohan, basically. I was, like, ripped. And then I got to the point where, when I was 8, yeah, I mean, it was the whole thing of trying to test my might and try to see if I could become basically like Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan's friend, who was like this overweight, like, martial artist or like that. And he had a lot of great movies and a lot of great films. He was a director and stuff. He directed a lot of Jackie Chan's films as well, and he was also in the circuit troupe that Jackie Chan and them grew up in. That's how they became flexible and performers when it comes to martial arts and stuff like that. So I was like, let me see if I could gain weight and also still be in the same type of maneuverable way, physicality way that I'm moving now, if I could do it while I'm bigger. And that was the thing. It got to a point where I was fluctuating with my weight. Even to my roommate used to be like, when you say you want to lose weight, you lose weight the next day. That's how my body actually moved. Like, it would be to where I just lose weight, I'll gain weight, and just fluctuate just because I wanted to. But regardless, I was like, I'm getting older, my back's fucked up. Yeah, I want to heal my back, so I definitely want to get in shape, want to be ripped. I was like, that actually would be great, even well, because I'm like, then I'll be a DILF. And I'll be like, even better, because all my daughter friends would be like, oh no, let's go over by Lily's house because her dad's a DILF. And I would just be like, cool, I know my daughter's secure and safe because her friends are always going to try to hang over here, and I'll be able to just hang out and just chill and know that my daughter's going to be safe in my room and she's going to be safe in her room with her friends. So I'm saying this, and the person who is running the campaign while I'm saying this is like, no, let's talk about something else. And I'm like, the fuck? We want to talk about something else. I'm telling you, like, my future plans and just making sure my daughter is secure and safe. And it wasn't until the Epstein files and me reading all this horrific stuff about, because don't get me wrong, I know about kidnapping and child abduction and stuff like that, but regardless of anything, I never think about that stuff because it's not one of those things that my mindset goes there. So when he stopped me, I was confused. Like, why are you stopping me from talking, from telling you, like, my plans? Until it came to a point of me understanding, oh, he was more than likely thinking something really perverse and fucked up and horrible. And he put that on me to try to act like I was saying that about something I was planning to do. And I was like, that's so interesting, because once again, that's something that we call the mirror. And the mirror is the fact that people put their own reflection on other people. Meaning, like I said before in previous recordings or previous podcasts, how one of my associates or previous associates that I used to hang out with, he would say stuff, and then he would say, oh yeah, that's something Troy would do. And I'm like, when the fuck have you ever seen, like, case in point, he was talking about how there could possibly be a naked woman homeless and some shit like that on Broad Street, and I would have walked up on her and smelled her pussy. And I'm like, when the fuck have you ever seen me walk up on, being a germaphobe as I am, when the fuck have you ever seen me going up to anybody and being like, I'm gonna go and just sniff your pussy? Like, the fuck? But that was his fucking derogatory mindset of what he was thinking about and the level and limits that he was on. And he tried to push that off and act like, oh, no, that's not me. Even though I said it, it's who smelt it, dealt it. Like, y'all smelt it, so clearly you farted. And it's like, nah, motherfucker, you just said that out your own mouth. No one over here fucking said that. And now you're trying to act like we're the people that's fucking a part of it. It don't make sense. It never made sense. But the funny thing is, that's how this world is. That's how this whole concept of people with the loudest voices be going. Like, they'll go and literally do the most fucked up shit, and then when they get caught up, they'll literally go and move the goalposts over, or fucking try to point the finger and be like, no. Don't look at what I just did or what I just said. Look at where I'm pointing at, because, you know, they're doing that. And it's like, what evidence you got? Just my voice? Just me saying it loudly? And it's like, that don't make sense. But the fucked up fact of the matter is, these sheeple will literally be like, yeah, I didn't hear anybody be louder than that, so I agree with that. Like, literally, Trump could literally go and be like, I'm sorry, Trump literally did go and say, I could go in New York and shoot somebody in the face, and I'll be just fine. And motherfuckers still be like, no, he didn't say that. Like, it's right there. They're like, well, it's AI. What the fuck? What do you mean it's AI? He literally said it. And then he'll come back and be like, I didn't say that. He'll be like, see, he said he didn't say it. What the fuck? Yeah. So, yeah. When it comes down to it, if you don't know what a person is thinking, which we don't, unless you're a telepath, and a lot of telepaths are popping up nowadays, but they're not fucking Jay Gray, Charles Xavier, or Emma Frost, or a Martian Manhunter for that matter. Like, unless you're on that fucking thing where you can actually link people's minds together and say, oh no, I'm going to, like, open up the fucking gateways so that you can read these people's minds the same way I'm reading their minds, then nobody knows what the fuck anybody's thinking about. Nobody knows anything that anybody's fucking going to be planning until they actually say it. And even if they do say it, you never know if they're being truthful or completely authentically honest about what it is or not. Because regardless of anything, we can always assume about anything and everything. We can assume anything and everything. Just because we assume it doesn't make it true. That's why when it comes down to it, I always listen, and I listen deeply, and I listen to the point of it. I'm as bad as a recorder when it comes to it most times, because I can tell you verbatim exactly some things that people said, like true and true. And if I had my recorder recording, when you hear the recording afterwards, it would be literally be verbatim. Like, it'll be the same thing that I said that is on the recording from the other person. So when it comes down to it, I watch people's moves, I watch people's motives, and I watch people how they interact with stuff, as well as listen to the things they say. That's why I feel the way I feel about this whole administration, how I feel about the colonizers, how I feel about the parasites, like how I feel about society in general. Where I'm like, everybody is weird, and I personally think weird is awesome. I think we all should be weird because I feel like we all are unique. So everything is always going to be weird in a unique stance to everybody else who want to feel like they want to perpetuate this idea of normal, which there's no concept of normal because that's just a facade. That's indoctrination. However, when it comes down to it, like, people just gotta be themselves. And as long as what you're doing, like I said, is in a stance or in a form of being just kind, and if you're fucking just doing the same routine of treat people the way that you want to be treated and treat others the way they treat you, but you start off with a base level of just being kind, like, you're not going to fuck up. And don't get me wrong, people have different levels of kindness, but I know one thing for sure: I don't see anybody saying, please, please, please hit me in the fucking eye, because that shows kindness. And if you do find people like that, then that's your choice to display kindness and do it for them if they're asking, or say, that's not my way of showing kindness, and move away. I mean, hell, they even had the fucking thing on fucking Scrubs. The revival of Scrubs, and it's been great. Awesome. Also, by the way, when it comes down to it, where, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but at this time, it is what it is. JD met up with this woman who was playing a harp in a lobby, and apparently she was a volunteer, but it was a whole back and forth of if JD can, like, have coitus with her or not, because she's working with the hospital and he's the chief of medicine there, and it would be a conflict of interest because he's the superior, she's, the under employee or what like that. Come to find out, she was actually a volunteer, so they can actually, they could get it in. She turned out to be amazingly mature when it came down to her sexuality and her identity of sex and her sexual norms, as well as her sexual comfortability. She was way advanced, more advanced than JD was comfortable with, especially because of the fact that he hasn't been with anybody since Elliot. But they later moved the goalpost and had JD, who was like, that's not my thing. I'm like, sorry, but that's not my thing. But he moved the goalpost over to Todd, because Todd's been a fucking freak since the fucking first season of Scrubs. Well, I'm not sure if Todd was on. I think Todd was on first season. I think he was on first season. Yeah. Ever since Todd was doing the Barney Stinson high five before Barney Stinson was doing high fives, like, Todd's been a fucking freak. And JD was like, hey, that's not my twist, but how do you feel about Harpist? And he was like, you had me at woman. And he was like, cool, I'm gonna hook you up with the herpes. Because that's what it's about. Like, motherfuckers want to judge. Like, motherfuckers be in position like JD and see somebody like her and be like, I want to judge them and call them a freak. I'm going to call them blah, 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 blah. I'm going to call them a pervert. I'm going to call them blah, 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 blah. When, in all actuality, what y'all should be doing is what JD did, which was like, oh, I also know somebody that is sexually more advanced than I am, sexually more comfortable with their sexuality than I am. I'm going to stare these two to each other. Hopefully I can be invited to their wedding and not a threesome. I mean, that's JD talking at me. But it's crazy because there's so many sheeple out there who got indoctrinated to believe that they can only have the monogamy idea of it, and because they fell into that trap of only being a monogamous person and being in a monogamous relationship, then everybody else has to also follow in that fucking trap. And if they don't, then they gotta get talked about or fucking judged or shamed or something like that because they choosing to live their life the way they feel comfortable living their life. Like, when it comes down to it, I honestly hope, I mean, I doubt it, but I hope it would be a thing where they get the new interns to be basically into like a whole like poly, I wouldn't say triad, but it's like 5 of them. Because here's the thing, once again, supposedly if you haven't watched the show, but it is what it is at this point. But like, you have the new interns, you have the black young woman who's a dope like surgical intern. Her best friend, who, well, also a black surgical intern. She was raised by a black Christian family. You have her best friend who is homeschooled, so she's very like timid and shy, very intelligent though, but a lot of world experiences or worldly experiences or quote unquote concepts of normality of going to regular school and stuff like that has been like not in her wheelhouse. But she has a thing for the British guy that's on the show, and the British guy has a thing for her. However, she also has a thing for the tall, dark, and broody guy who they literally keep calling Bruce Wayne, which is so funny. One of them, somebody called him Tom Selleck. It was so funny. While also, the broody guy doesn't really like any of them. He just is there to fucking make money and be a doctor because he had a rough life, which I'm actually enjoying that concept of the storyline. But then there have the last intern, which is the selfie queen, which also is flipped on his head because she comes off as being really superficial, really ditzy and stuff like that. But she's actually a really caring person, and she does this because she needs money, and she also gets free shit from it. She likes the British dude too. So I'm like, at this point, they should all just hop in the bed together. Because, I mean, 2 of them already started fucking, which is great. But the British guy also knows that the homeschooler actually has a thing for Bruce Wayne. And honestly, the Sophie doctor intern has a thing for the British guy. So I feel like all of us just like, fuck, let's get over and fuck. But of course, publicized television is going to have it be British guy and homeschooler is going to get together until she more than likely breaks up or cheats on him with Bruce Wayne, while the social media like goes and picks up the pieces for the British guy, and the more than likely have a thing where Bruce Wayne start brooding and start trying to date the black woman who was in the Christian household, because that's how America indoctrinates everybody. They've been doing it with Friends, they've been doing it with How I Met Your Mother, they've been doing it with Live the Single, they was doing it since Facts of Life, they was doing it like since Boy Meets World, even though Boy Meets World was literally the pinnacle of a fucking triad relationship. Like, they just, none of them was fucking yet until Sean started fucking and getting Corey head all of the game, talking about, yo, you need to get some pussy. And he was like, yeah, when Topeka's ready. And Topeka was like, I'm not ready yet. I mean, maybe, but not yet. It was just always this weirdo shit. Like, I don't know. But if you had more shows, and I'm not, and I'm just, and this is a stretch here because I was not like all these shows literally perpetuated polygamy or like that, but it was a better idea or better grandeur of saying like this is something that could be a better fit, like the L Word. Like, granted, a lot of them was friends, but a lot of it was just Shane ripping through almost everybody. I think Shane, except for like the core members of the group, I think Shane fucked like almost everybody that was on the show. Like the core six never felt the glory, the majestic nature of Shane. But like everybody else, the guest stars, all of them, just randos, just Shane will. All I remember is usually it will be a party, and Shane will walk in the door, and then Shane will walk in another door, and then Shane will be walking out, fixing her fucking shirt, wiping her mouth. That's how I remember the L Word. I love Shane so much. Shane was amazing. Shane was so fucking amazing. God, man, I need to watch the L Word again. Anyway, yeah, like even with the X-Men comic books, even Wolverine and shit like that, it was always this whole concept where people misconstrue the whole concept of the X-Men and the whole concept of Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops and shit like that. Because point blank, period, everybody want to act like Wolverine was being a creep when Jean Grey actually was feeling them. Jean Grey was feeling like, yeah, Jean Grey started off as a teenager with Scott being a teenager, and they was in a teen superhero group where they had to survive and yada yada yada. That brings people closer together. I get it, totally understandable. However, people grow up. Just because you was dating somebody in high school don't mean you're going to still be dating them in college. Yeah, you could want to, but guess what? They're going to meet some older motherfuckers in college. They might meet a professor in college, and that professor might be feeling them because now they're over 19 or something like that, and that professor's like, yeah, why not? Like, we're all legal here. Like, let's do it. We know these are fucking real life stories. These are real circumstances that happen and shit like that. And people still want to act like, no, that's wrong. Like, if that's what these two adults feel like doing, that's what they want to do. Personally, for me, I can't mess with anybody in their 20s. Like, the older I get, the age of the people that I want to date also raises up with me. Like, when I was younger, yeah, like I used to do that. Like when I was in my 30s, I was messing with people in their 20s. But like as I got older in my 30s, I just started moving the goalposts. I was like, they can't be younger than 25. And then I was like, in my late 30s, I was like, they can't be anything under 28. Then I got to my 40s, like, they can't be anything under 29. And then I was like, I'm 44, and I'm like, they can't be under 35. Like, they can't. Like, this keeps going up, because I'm like, I can't do it. I'd rather date within a 10-year window than any, and that goes for younger and older. Like, I don't want to date anybody like 56 and up, because I'm about to be 45 in like a couple of months. Jesus Christmas. Fuck a doodle doo. Huh. Anyway, so just time is a construct, but at the same time, whoa. But yeah, I'm not trying to date anybody that's over 55 or 56. Like I'm not trying to date anybody under 35. Like, that's just, but at the same time, I'm not trying to date anybody, period, right now. I don't got the bandwidth for it. I don't. Like, I enjoy my peace way too much. And that is so dangerous at this point in time, because it's like, all I know and all I do is literally wake up, take my medicines, my vitamins, my supplements, just eat my clove of garlic in the morning, eat some yogurt, you know what I mean? So to have some, positive probiotics and stuff like that for my gut health, drink some water, hydrate, start off with a nice little fucking breakfast burrito and shit like that. Get two of those bad boys, eat some breakfast burritos, watch some TV, do some schoolwork, do a little reading, write a little of my book here and there and stuff like that when the mood strikes, or when I feel like, getting into writing my characters, playing the guitar, playing my bass, stuff like that, watching some anime, watching some Dana Dubs, or some fucking Christinology or Christology or like that reviews, or just watching a hoof GP, watching some like cow hoof care going on, and seeing them put fucking iodine or salicylic acid and shit like that on the fucking hooves, like just shit that makes me feel comfortable and stuff that I enjoy watching. Like Dr. Pimple Popper is like done. I mean, she still does her thing, but I always felt like she was being racist. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Maybe not racist, bigoted. Yeah, I want to say bigoted more likely. I want to say insurance bigoted. Insurance bigoted is because if it was somebody who was from her board or her like legal insurance trustees or like that, someone like upper crust is like that, she would literally get all the gunk out of these fucking people's like pores and stuff like that. Get like, all of the goddamn like the poor whiner, like I want to say it right because I haven't watched it in a while, but the all the just pus and like packed in skin tissue, stuff like that, even the sac and stuff like that was holding it all, she would get all of that out. She would clear that sucker out. But then if it's somebody with regular insurance, somebody on the lower end, she'll just get the gunk out and leave the sack in there and be like, and even though she'll be like, oh yeah, no, it'll just keep filling up unless we remove the sack. But if it keeps filling up, why you not remove the sack for the people that have the like basic insurance? But for the people that don't have the upper crust insurance, she removes the sack all the time. It's like this perpetual fucking revolving door thing, and I was like, I don't support that. Like, if you're going to treat people right, and you're going to treat people the same, regardless of what their insurance is. I don't give a fuck. Like, they came here for a service, and your service is to help these people get healthier and better. Do your job. That's why I was like, I can't watch her no more. I'm good. But yeah, or watch, like I said, now that I'm on TikTok all the damn time, watching my bud Infamous Sora, gamer. I always call her gamer. Watch her play her games, stuff like that. And once again, I gotta congratulate her for getting platinum in God of War 2018, and also getting platinum in God of War Ragnarok. Like, she platinum both of them within the same week. It was dope. Like, she already played and was finished. She played and finished both of them, but she finished and played Ragnarok, and then she went back again for another time to replay 2018, but this time she played it to platinum it, and after she platinumed it for 2018, she's like, let me go back to my last save for Ragnarok and see if I can platinum it there too. And that's what she did. She grinded and did that. Now I think she's playing like Crimson Desert. She doesn't like it, which I'm like, neither do I. So like, I support her, and I repost her like information where she's like playing, because she play every day. But like, I don't feel like sitting there watching her play that. Like, I just, yeah. But she also was on not TikTok. She's on TikTok, but she's also on Twitter. Not Twitter. What's the name of that? Twitch. She's on Twitch, so you can find her on Twitch. Same name as well. But yeah, she's also playing that new co-op game, that Hard where you play as like the little puppets or whatever like that, being chased by like the the delts or demons or whatever the elongated men or people over that. So we've been playing that too. But yeah, like I'm like that's my thing. I want to just. I'm in such a fucking space of comfort and peace right now where I'm like, I get what I want when I want it. I go to the store when I want. I buy the stuff that I like to eat. I don't have to worry about trying to figure out if I want to ask a partner or partners if they want to get fucking go to a restaurant to fucking go out to eat, or if they want to go to Checkers, or they want to go to Five Guys, or they want to go to, or they want me to make dinner for that night. Like, I do that for myself. I don't need to wait to figure out if somebody's hungry or not. And then when they tell me they're not, I get my food, and then they're like, oh, I'm hungry. Let me eat some of yours, because I bought what I wanted because I wanted to eat it. Not because I wanted to share it, because I wanted to eat it. And I'm comfortable, man. Like, I feel so grateful to be in this space, to be able to be like, I'm good. Like, I'm so relaxed and so good. Like, yeah, it's funny. Like, it's hilarious to be able to just sit in my space and just feel comfortable enough, because once I get into my RV and move out in the woods and stuff like that, that's when I'm going to get completely comfortable. Because I cannot be 100% comfortable in society. Because, like I said previously, everybody's too saturated with this indoctrination for me to ever feel comfortable with everybody. Like, even one of my friends, like, I know she was saying it jokingly, like, me and her been, like, sending each other memes on, like, Instagram for, like, the last, I want to say 2 weeks or something like that now, 2.5 weeks, after the tragedy happened in their lives and their family and stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure they was okay and just check on. So we just started been sending memes back and forth with each other, which has been fun and been great and stuff like that. But, like, I don't want to also encroach because they have a boyfriend, and I'm not trying to constantly be in their presence daily because, one, like, I don't know the full dynamic of her and her boyfriend's relationship, and I don't want it to ever become a thing where anyone ever believes I'm trying to flirt or weasel my way into anybody's relationship. It happened before. It happened a bunch of times in my past where I'm just being me, and, like, I'm not going to say I slipped my dick in and like that, but it kind of happened that way. It's kind of one of those things where I'm just being me and just being my authentic self, and they see something that they like about it, and then they gravitate into, pursuing a sexual, intimate relationship with me and stuff like that. And before, I didn't care. Before, I was like, if that's your choice, and I still feel the same way. If you choose to make a decision for yourself and say this is what you want, then that's your decision, that's your journey. However, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to ruin somebody's relationship because of the fact that they weren't being honest with their significant partner or themselves enough to say, hey, we can either take a break or we can open our relationship so that I can pursue this with somebody else. Because we're all grown and we're all adults. Like, we all know what sex is. We all know that, men and women, men and men, women and women, we all can just have sex with each other. Like, it's not anything that is, like, not known. It's not like we're children and we don't know what sex is. Like, some of us have kids. Like, so we know what sex is. Some of us don't have kids and we still know what sex is. So stop acting like we're fucking in fucking high school still and acting as if people aren't going to be sexually attracted to each other regardless of whatever dynamic they're in, relationship or not. However, it is about having a wherewithal and the cognitive awareness of understanding of saying like, yeah, I'm not going to take things too far. Like, we'll send each other memes that have innuendos and stuff like that, but it's never any type of thing where either of us are visibly flirting with each other. However, it was a concept where it was a conversation where we was talking and she was like, yeah, you know, you're a freak nigga or something like that. And I'm like, anything I say back into replying to this could either come off being flirty or come off being just misconstrued in any way. So I didn't reply at all to that statement. That I moved past it and I just sent another meme that was about another joke about something else, because it was like, regardless, because what I'm going to say, yeah, you're a freak too, that's why we're friends, or you're a freak, or yeah, you know I'm a freak and you like it. Like, anything that comes off, even if it's jokey, is going to come off, could possibly be misconstrued. So instead of putting myself in that position and like I've been in previously in my younger days, man, so many people have. I almost was intimate with a security guard at. I think I mentioned this before, but when I was working at UPS, it was a security guard that worked at UPS. I can't remember where year it was, but curb date me, if you will, because I can look it up. You can look it as well. It was when Final Fantasy X2 came out, because that's or was about to come out. Because I remember I had the Game Informer with the main characters on the cover of that Game Informer, because that's where it was about to come out. So they wanted to put the Game Informer out for that game. So I remember going to work, and me and her, I would flirt with her, and she would flirt back, and we would flirt with each other all day, to the point where I actually came to work at UPS, called out while in the fucking guard shack, and I sat there for 4 hours just talking to her, and me and her just was sitting there talking for 4 hours. Got a number, was like hitting her up after hours and shit like that all the time. I even like manipulated myself to the point of being like, oh, I'm keeping her marriage alive, because the fact that even when or if 321 even when or if we were to have coitus, then she would just be a happier wife going back home and not being upset with her husband because she's having orgasm. I'm not saying that me and her had sex, because we did not. No, there's no bearing the lead there. We did not have coitus. We did not do anything physical. Only thing was just a conversation over phone, and a lot of just innuendos and stuff like that. But there was a time where, there were other individuals, other women that were in relationships or had dynamics with different people that I was like, it's not my place to stop you from having sex with me if you want to have sex with me. Regardless if you're dating somebody or a baby mom or yada, yada, yada. Like, if you want to do it, I'm not turning it down. So, let's go. But now I'm at a point where, I'm turning it down. Because, once again, stemming off the fucking fact of kindness and treating people the way I want to be treated, and treating others the way they treat me, I don't want to put that type of energy out in the world to, like, stunt others' relationships, stunt other people's, like, idea of or concepts of love and what companionship is. Like, I want to build people's trust in each other and in one another and in themselves. Like, that's the type of world I want to live in. And the bad part is, this is only stemming from the fact that I never truly feel like I can trust anybody 100%. And knowing how that feels, knowing how I feel in a world where I don't trust anybody, like I want to, like I want to trust people, but like every aspect of what I've been shown and given has been showing me that nobody is truly really trustworthy. Nobody is truly really kind. Not in the people that I've been around. Not in the people that I've been growing up with, or surrounded myself, not even surrounded myself with, but been surrounded by. Because even when I tried to find those who I could surround myself with, it's always been a thing of some type of weird judgment and feeling this weird obligation to judge other people, when it's like, okay, so let's air out every single moment of your life and see what we can judge about you. And they're like, no, we can't do that. Why would you want to do that? Because you want to judge other people. So why not put yourself in the crosshairs, and let's see what we can judge about you. Let's put everything out there and see what you do. Because I can stand on mine. I can stand on saying, like, yeah, I was a piece of shit for manipulating people, yada, yada. And then people want to jump on my head and be like, yeah, you are a piece of shit. Okay, cool. What people have you manipulated? Well, they'd be like, oh, I never manipulated nobody. And then if these people are parents, be like, well, have you told your kids about Santa Claus? What do you mean? Santa Claus is not real. Well, no, I mean, it's their job. Well, that's manipulation. Sorry, it is. Just like the whole fact, I honestly find it funny that every Christian that I know is going to hell. Every single one of them. Because regardless of anything, if you choose to judge anybody, if you deem yourself to be a Christian, that's committing a sin. Because only God is the judge, or whatever cherub or angel he put into that duty to judge humans' livelihoods, something like that. And unless you're an angel or unless you're God, then you can't be judging people. You're only supposed to be living your life in accordance to what, the Lord of Christianity has said. So that's your belief system. I was raised in that belief system, so I know it. And the fact of the matter is, I don't fucking agree with it, and I don't adhere by it. But since y'all do, and since y'all want to judge, enjoy your fucking hell baths. I mean, what else am I supposed to say? It's not my fault that y'all chose to read and interpreted this document the way that y'all wanted to, and still chose to live it this way. Especially in the fact that y'all motherfuckers are the fucking religion, supposedly, of free will. How can y'all say you got free will, but then you want to keep on fucking perpetuating this idea of saying, don't do that, don't do this, don't do this. You gotta live the way that we live in because this is what we chose to do, but y'all don't have a choice in this. And if y'all do choose to not do what we doing, then you're going to hell too. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. I still remember that day when I had a coworker who was from Africa, and they got indoctrinated because the colonizer went to Africa and indoctrinated them about whole Christianity and stuff like that, and so many other things. And it was literally to the point where it was literally, I was like, so wait, isn't there a scripture about those who do not know me will go into heaven? Because it's a scripture where they made a loophole, and it was like, for those who do not know the wisdom of the Lord will still benefit from the glory of heaven. And she was like, yeah. So I was like, so if I didn't know about God or like that, I was like, what would happen next? She was like, I would tell you. So I was like, so wait, I was already getting a free pass to go to heaven already if I didn't know. But then you would tell me so I would know. So if I then chose not to follow after, I would have to go to hell? Yeah. So you're trying to destroy my free will, which means you're going to hell. It was the funniest thing ever because it was nothing. She stopped talking to me. She would not talk to me until like she didn't. Like we stopped talking while I was working there. The whole rest of the time I was working there, she wouldn't ask me for a ride home anymore, which was great because I was able to just enjoy my quiet and just drive home in peace. But it was just like, yeah, dude, you're a manipulator and you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, you can't go and be like, oh yeah, I know these people are going to instantly go to heaven if they don't know shit. But you're going to be like, I want to burden them with the responsibility of knowing shit, so now they got to go to hell. What the fuck? But anyway, when it comes down to it, yeah, it's been too many people who, in the idea or the identity of being Christians and not being Christians, and yada yada yada, who literally just showed and proved that like they are untrustworthy. And it's just like I said, I have more peace, solitude, and enjoyment in my life being by myself, being alone, away from people, brings me the most peace, the most enjoyment, the most solitude, of course, and just the most just abundance of just gratitude that I've ever felt in a group of people that claim to be my friends or are literally blood family. Like, everyone always makes me feel uncomfortable. I was going to say itchy in a way. I feel like itchy in a way. Like, but like, yeah, just uncomfortable. Like, because no one's genuine. No one I've met, no one I've been around, no one I've been genuinely involved with, like relationship wise, friendship wise, platonic or non-platonic friend wise, like blood relative wise, like soul family. Well, I can't use soul family because soul family are coming in now, but like just the people from my past before I died and came back. It's never been I never felt like I genuinely knew them. I never felt like they was being authentic with me. And then it comes to find out they weren't. And it's so funny because I've done this multiple times where I'll just go away and I'll just be in my own zone and just doing my own thing, and then I'll come back and be like, hey, what's going on? And it's their journey for them to be in the same loop or the same zone that they were in before I left, to like heal myself, to learn more about myself in this solitude and trying to like, just be in a better sense of peace with myself. Only to come back out and have basically the Heath Ledger treatment from 10 Things I Hate About You, where just everybody just start saying these random things about me and about where I was or what I was doing without even asking me. Being like, oh, I heard that you was blah, 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 blah. Like, really? You heard it from, oh, no, just people were saying, they be saying stuff. And that's always what it is. There's always people saying stuff, but never who said stuff. And then, of course, because all these random shadow people keep saying shit, all these random stories, no one wants to ask me, the genuine article, what I was doing. They just want to believe these fabrications, these, like, fables of these concepts of just being like, oh, yeah, no, this is what I heard Troy did. Instead of asking Troy, what did he do? This is what I believed somebody told me Troy did. Instead of being like, Troy, did this really happen? Or if I tell my story, they'd be like, well, that's not what I heard. That's nowhere near from the things I heard. So I want to believe what I heard instead of believing what's coming from Troy. Even though Troy is the person who experienced it. It don't make any sense. Which is why it's so funny when people actually do get around me and actually spend time with me and actually like try to be an investigator to be like, what is up with Troy? And they live in like a day in the life of Troy. It literally just be us supposed to be sitting there talking, having fun. Like the last time I did that with somebody was with one of my ex-brothers and stuff like that. We went to the mall. We just went to the mall. We just hung out at the mall, walked around the mall, and just talked and just like chilled and like relaxed. Yeah, definitely checked out some women. Definitely was checking out, some clothes and stuff like that. Talking about shit, random shit, and just having fun. But just having a whimsical, just relaxed day. Nothing special, nothing crazy, nothing out of ordinary. But the same thing, it was a special, beautiful day because we was able to just spend time together and just kind of relax and just kind of get out of our usual mundane area of just him being in his mom's apartment and me being in my room and stuff like that. It was just like able to get out, get some fresh air, yada yada yada, but just be able to be in this bubble of just us enjoying our time together. And that's what I do regardless. If I have somebody in my bubble or not, I just sit there and just appreciate life. Because I've been on the other side. Like, I know how it feels. You don't feel anything physically on the other side. Like, mentally, emotionally. But after a while, that just starts to fade away, too. So, like, when I came back, and I still do, even when I feel this pain or this twinge of, like, whatever in my back or whatever, I'm grateful for it because I know that in this delusion of this 3D life, like, pain is a concept that's in the mind, but when you are dead, you don't even have the concept of pain, the physical pain anymore. You don't feel anything. It's just your consciousness. You can have the moments where you think about pain and say, oh, that's what pain, I remember what the pain felt like now that I think about it, but it's not a physical ache that's there. You don't feel that there, which is great when you first get there, but then after being there, because time is a construct, it's not a purposeful driven thing in that realm. It's just one of those things where it's like it doesn't feel good not to feel pain, as odd as that sound, but maybe eventually you'll get there if you whatever you believe in. But like, yeah, it was an interesting concept because it really was a point where I was just like, oh, I remember what that felt like, or I remember what that felt like, or oh, that was a good memory, or oh, that was a bad memory. Because it's just, that's all you get to do is just think. And I was just in the void, just thinking. This is my consciousness there, until it became a thing of creating and building and using my consciousness to construct stories and things and realities and omniverses and learning how to become so much more than I am now, all with the concept of just my consciousness. It was so peaceful. And I think that's another reason why I just want to be alone, because it's so loud and so noisy here with so many other just personalities, because in the void there's no sound. It's just, only thing you can hear is the telepathic noise of your own consciousness and the consciousness of others when you are able to become aware enough of all of us that are still in the void there in that dimension, and then able to start to communicate with all the other individuals who are in the void with you or with us. And then of course when you start to expand beyond that of the self into the the concept and understanding that you're not just in the void, you are the void. It's it's powerful, man. It's super powerful. That's all. Like, coming back here, it's like I know I'm here for a mission. I know I'm here for objectives that I need to accomplish, and I'm comfortable with that only because, regardless of the first main mission that I was brought back to do, like, my personal mission was to make sure that I tied up my loose ends with everything that's going on with my daughter, and make sure she was okay, and make sure she understands and know the truth about everything that's going on and everything that happened that brought her into this existence, as well as what happened between her and her mom. So, but even though with that, I know it's waiting for me when I'm done, and I am looking forward to it. I'm not rushing to it, but because I know it's not going to happen today, I know it's not going to happen tomorrow, and I know when it happens, is I'm going to be at peace, because I'm already at peace. Like, I'm okay with it, and I'm looking forward to it, because it. When I say there's no pain, like, there's no pain, there's no taste. That's another thing too. When I came back, stuff tastes so good to me. Like, it still does. Like, it's not like I've got used to it. Like, oh, like, I'm done with blah 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 now. Like, no, that's why I make sure I eat the stuff that I want to eat, because I know that when I go off into the void again, like, I know where I'm going, as well as simultaneously being in the void. But if I'm here, I'm going to enjoy all the facets of life. Taste, sense, touch, you know what I mean, hearing, like, all the stuff, seeing. Like, I want to bathe myself into the pleasures and enjoyments and peace of the things that I like. And that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm ever going to do. That's all I ever wanted to do in the first place. But it's also so daunting to be in a position where it's so many foul, evil individuals, and it's so many other individuals that are just kind-hearted and just beautiful beings that are just trapped alone because of the fact that they're surrounded by fucking demons and devils and fucking just piece of shit individuals. And then there's other people that are just in the mix of it, just in the flow in it, of just being like, I don't really want to support the villains, but I'm not going to do anything to stop the villains. And this is like, you're making the problem worse. Because if, like, hell, like I said, Switzerland is getting involved in saying that it's not real, and you know, United States of fucking orange shit is fucking wrong. We all made jokes about Switzerland. Even if you don't know anything about politics, it was always a joke. In Animaniacs, it was the fucking joke about Switzerland being fucking just neutral and shit. Like, shit is fucking... So, if, like, once again, like the whole the Rambo fucking joke, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fucking fall for everything. Like, this shit is fucking crazy. And, like, that's why I'm like, I'm done. I 343. Like, I'm done with this whole concept of just being quiet to get along or like that with the things that my roommate taught me growing up, or how my family wanted me to be growing up, of just constantly saying, just stay small, don't shine too bright. Matter of fact, just do all this stuff for us, and we'll treat you like Dobby from fucking Harry Potter. And don't ask for anything else in return, because we're not gonna give you anything. But just make sure you do everything for us, though. Like, no, fuck that. Like, we all have free will, regardless if you believe in Christianity or not. We all was born to live our own individual lives. We weren't here to fucking perpetuate this same fucking cycle of this the monopoly money, this fake concept of fucking wealth, like this fake idea of, okay, if you fucking just work hard and just fucking keep your head down, you'll end up being like a fucking gajillionaire. No, because all that shit was fucking fake. It's all fucking fake. Money is not real. Money is something that's made up. It was literally a note for fucking silver, copper, and gold. And today was like, no, it's kind of heavy carrying all these minerals around. Let's just make it something that's in the fucking. First, it was these metal fucking plates and shit. And today was like, let's just take away the metal plate part and just put it on fucking paper and make it fucking soluble that way. So it's like, come on, man. Like, we are fucking killing, eating, and fucking abusing each other for something that somebody made up fucking centuries ago, and over a century ago, and just like sitting here acting as if that's normal, because now that's the new normal. That's why I love fucking Fallout so much, because it literally shows the hypocrisy and all that shit. They're using bottle caps as fucking currency and shit because they need to have something to have some type of value to actually have some type of idea of control over others. Bottle caps, fucking, like, bottle caps for fuck's sake, dude. Like, God, fuck-a-doodle-doo. You know what? This is a perfect time to sing my song. Fuck-a-doodle-doo. Fuck-a-doodle me. No, fuck-a-doodle you. Like, that's just where it comes down at. That's just the worldview of where I see it now. Fuck-a-doodle-doo. Because this shit is fucking ridiculous. Like, literally, everybody is sitting here, all the majority of people want is to feel safe. That's it. All people really want is just to feel safe. And we can't feel safe because we have dickheads in power fucking doing all of the most atrocious shit that you could possibly think of in every single horror movie that you could possibly think of. These motherfuckers are doing it in real fucking life, and they're still in power, and they're trying to tell us that all we need to do is get some fucking Cheez-Its, a slice of liver, and a fucking can of fucking Fanta, and we can survive on that for fucking 3 days and shit. Like, while they fucking getting fucking mansions and fucking jet planes and fucking all this fucking lavish shit, and they talking about, yeah, y'all, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, but we're okay with y'all dealing with that sacrifice. Fuck y'all. Like, this shit is bullshit. And everybody else is still fucking playing along as if everything is still fucking normal. This shit is not normal. This shit is so far from fucking normal. And that's why I'm like, I can't be around y'all no more. Like, whoever hears this, whoever feels the same way about this, hit me up, contact. We can fucking chart out a plan. We can figure some shit out. But everybody else who's just like, oh, Troy just on this shit again, cool. Please, keep ignoring everything. Because like I said before, I'm just going to enjoy the entertainment, because the shit is right there, plain as day. The shit is going to be fucked up soon. It's already fucked up already. Like, with all the shit that's going on with ICE, with all the shit that's going on with, like, them setting up concentration camps in different areas of the fucking, like, different areas of the fucking country. There's a spot in PA where they got a concentration camp there and shit. They got a fucking area where they're gonna be fucking rounding up people and putting these motherfuckers in this area and shit like that, and just abducting them and kidnapping them. Not to mention they already are fucking raping children still. They're impregnating children in these fucking ICE facilities. And y'all want to still act like this shit is not fucking happening? Y'all want to still act like this shit is not a fucking threat? Like, no, I'm not going to be in this fucking world where I have my daughter and knowing that these motherfuckers is out here doing shit to these little kids. Boy, girls are indifferent. They're fucking torturing and killing and raping these children and shit in plain fucking sight, and everybody just still acting like, no, that's not my problem yet. That's not my problem. I got other shits going on in my life. I can't be dealing with that. Like, that's the shit that's your Once again, I've read these shits in too many stories and too many comic books, and I've seen this shit in too many movies. This is why I don't like the fucking Avengers. This is why I always hated the Avengers. I've always hated the Avengers because when it came down to it, when the X-Men was literally going through shit on Earth, in outer space, in different realities, all this shit going on. You never seen Captain America and them popping up being like, hey, guys, chill. When Galactus came, the X-Men was over there fighting next to us, side by side. Chill. The fucking X-Men, she got blown up 1,700 fucking times. You never seen Captain America with his shield up being like, yo, these grounds are protected. These people are heroes. I served with some of these people in the war. Wolverine over here, yeah, he's a killer, but so am I. I had to kill a bunch of Nazis and shit back in World War and shit like that just to fucking survive. So you can't fucking you can't be like, oh, the times are different now. Yeah, times is different because I had to do some fucking murking back there, just like Wolverine was doing some murking back there. This motherfucker wasn't frozen all the time. I was. But this nigga had to survive and keep fucking going. And guess what? The world's still fucked up. You don't see the fucking Avengers doing that shit. Now they're starting to do that shit, but now we got a black Captain America, and that black Captain America went to a black Storm and was like, hey, Storm, we need you as a representative for the mutants to be on the Avengers. 2 times over. Black representation and the mutant representation. Like, yeah, we had Sam Wilson having to fucking do that shit. Every time Cap was fucking being like, okay, well, we'll get Luke Cage. Because guess what? When them bringing Luke Cage in, they was ruining Luke Cage business. Peep game. Luke Cage was working with Danny Reyes, Heroes for Hire. They was making money. Matter of fact, they still was making money regardless because Danny Reyes had this fucking organization funneling money through the Heroes for Hire fucking job. So every time the people couldn't really pay for their fucking stuff, Danny Reyes would fucking fit the bill for them. So it was still cool. However, when they was working with Avengers don't get paid. They live in a mansion. They live in Tony's fucking mansions and shit like that, or they live in the fucking mansion from I think Simon Williams had a mansion and stuff like that for West Coast Avengers. But they live there, and they live off of the money that the billionaire or the rich person for the team actually has. Because even with the champions, Hawkeye, she was the breadwinner for the fucking team for that. They lived in her fucking base, and they was eating off her stuff and like that, and moving around from her money and shit like that. But they don't get money for that. They don't get money for that. Even with Peter, when Peter was an Avenger, Peter wasn't getting paid. He was an Avenger, and he still was doing his Spider-Man stuff, and he still had to do his Peter Parker stuff, taking pictures and stuff. It wasn't until later on where I want to say Doc Ock was the one who helped him start up the foundation, where he actually was a competitor against Stark Technology, I believe, which was a dope ass concept. That's how smart Peter is. But at the same time, that was also Doc Ock and Peter's body to do that shit. So that's also how intelligent Peter's villains are. But regardless, yeah, it was just the art imitating life, life imitating art concept of individuals being untrustworthy and just shisty is something that I've grew up with my whole entire life. And for me, being in this type of reality and seeing that everyone has potential for good, bad, or indifferent, but seeing the choices that everybody's making, yeah, I'm like, all I want to do and all I'm going to do, spread my message, spread the things that I'm aware of doing, do the goals that I was brought back to do, and do my main goal, and then I'm out. And I have no qualms about that whatsoever, because I know I'm going to be helping the people I need to help with doing the things I need to do, and I'm already helping those who are already seeking help, and I am so grateful and I'm so happy to have them in my life and to be in their life to help them in the way I'm helping them, and I'm okay with that, and I'm good with that, and I have solace in that, and I will have solace in the fact of me being in the woods by myself, just living my best life, and knowing that I'm good, knowing that my daughter is good, knowing that, you know, the world is heading to where the world's going to be headed to, because these were all choices that everybody put in on. This is the journey that everybody else they chose to be a part of. And if you want to say I didn't choose this, then I mean that's up to y'all to say that. But the actions that's being perpetuated now is still the same, regardless of position of where this world is going. World War III. I mean, and also more than likely the Handmaid's Tale. Probably. I mean, hell, I'm still looking forward to the fact of aliens popping up, which could be next week or it could be next year, but it's supposed to be coming eventually. When it comes down to if you have any credence or hold any water of believing the findings of certain psychics and certain people who are readers or Nostradamus and stuff like that. But like, yeah, like we just had a murder, a fucking hate crime murder of somebody that is in the trans community, and it was Mississippi. I can't remember if it was Mississippi or Virginia, but somebody who's a prominent member of the trans community was murdered in their own house. Like, and I can't remember their name. I'm so sorry that I can't honor them by saying their name on my podcast, but I will look it up again and I'll like say their name in my next one more likely. But like, the fact of the matter is, there's too many motherfuckers trying to control other individuals, and there's way far more individuals that are out there just keeping their mouth fucking shut and not fucking getting mad enough or getting angry enough or getting motivated enough to do anything about it. And I'm just like, alright. Because I had a conversation over this shit. Not this type of conversation, like not this topic, but it was a I can't remember if it was one of the popular shows. It just happened. I can't, because I don't watch the show. I don't think it was was the Rivals thing with the two male lovers in hockey or whatever like that. But it's something along those lines. It was one of those shows where it's like it was sex in it. It's on HBO. Like, so I don't know, but some woman popped up, because I'm not going to derogatorily talk about her or try to like take her down a peg and that like that. But I did let her know, like, you being weird. Because it's like, she went and fucking put on a post and put up this whole thing like, I'm so sick and tired of them perpetuating this idea about sex and blah 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 and forcing it. I was like, here's the thing, you don't gotta watch it. You don't gotta watch it. And she's like, it's a good show and I'm just saying. I was like, yeah, but here's the thing. Y'all as prudes have like 90 fucking 5% of just all television media. It got like 95% television media. But y'all still take the extra fucking, what? I don't want to say it as 5% that is just all sex, because it's not. It's like fucking 2 or 3% of like television that has gratuitous sex in it, stuff like that in it. But like, regardless, y'all see something that has sex in it, and then y'all want to fucking pull that shit, this fucking weirdo fucking car, and have everybody jumping down this fucking show throat, and being like, y'all need to be canceled because y'all showing blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up. Here's the thing. Everybody didn't live in this cookie cutter fucking system. That was one of the things. She tried to bring up fucking Euphoria. And she was like, I'm just tired of them perpetuating kids being sexual and stuff like that. I was like, here's the thing. First and foremost, every actor and actress that was in there, except for Rue's youngest daughter, which I don't even think she's going to be on there. Stormy Rain, I forgot her name. But I don't even think she's going to be in season 3. But every other fucking actress or actor that was in there were over the age of 18. Yes, they were perpetuating teenagers, shit like that. But here's the thing. Just because everybody else or a group of people lived a Saved by a Bell fucking reality, that don't mean that everybody didn't live a fucking like Euphoria lifestyle. Like, I was in fucking high school fucking. Listen, there was a time when I was in high school, I was, Jesus, what? Yeah, let's say 16, 17. And I remember walking in the fucking stairwell. And when I was walking through the stairwell, I ended up seeing friends of mine that was a grade younger than me. And she was getting her, 2 of them was getting fingered. And the third was getting her titties sucked and shit in the stairwell. My whole group of dudes. And I just walked in and was like, what the fuck? I'll get a piece of that if I can. And I just hopped in. Of course, I knew them and yada, yada, yada. But it was cool. It was consensual. Oh, my part and their part was consensual. I don't know how this even started. I just know I walked in doing it, and it was a whole freak fest in the whole fucking stairwell. Got to suck some titties, got to finger some pussy. It was a fucking glorious fucking 15 minutes of my time in my school day. And that was in school. That wasn't even like during the weekends, during parties, or during the fucking... Because, yeah, when I was 16, first shot of Grand Marnier. I was also 16 when I had my first fucking, like, tote of fucking marijuana. And I was smoking weed and shit like that. I also started smoking cigarettes when I was 16. 16 was a avalanche of just debauchery and just everything. It was wild. But, yeah, when I watch Euphoria, I watch it as something that I can fucking reminisce to and be like, I resonate with that. I used to be like that when I was in my teens and shit like that. Drugs, alcohol, fucking sex and shit like that. Just awkwardness of just trying to understand who I am. I get it. I watch Saved by the Bell and be like, this is how I felt in like elementary school and fucking middle school. Like, I could resonate with that in those years, but high school, it was just all euphoria basically. And I know everybody didn't live like that. And that's cool. But at the same time, just because you didn't live like that, you can't keep on trying to criticize and try to make everybody believe that this shit isn't real because that wasn't your fucking reality. That's like going and being like, if you climb Mount Everest, being like, well, I did it, so everybody did it. And we know for a fact everybody didn't fucking climb Mount Everest. But just because the fact you did don't mean shit except for the fact that you just need to be proud of yourself. That's just all it is. But when it comes down to it, I told her flat out, I was like, listen, you think, because she was like, I think, sex is beautiful, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, and that's cool that you think what you think is beautiful. However, what's going to happen after you get all these gangs of people to fucking get on all the shit that you don't think is beautiful? Somebody else is going to get a whole gang of people to fucking call out the thing that you do call is beautiful. And now you going to be fucking ostracized and shit like that. The same way you ostracizing everybody else. Like, shut the fuck up and let people enjoy themselves the way they want to enjoy themselves and shit like that. And if that's not something that you can enjoy, then go find the shit that you can go enjoy. It's not hard. Y'all act like it's some difficult shit. Y'all act like those ShamWow videos and shit where people be trying to fucking mop the floor. I don't know how to mop. Oh, I got a bucket of water all over my water, blah, 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 because I don't know how to mop. Let me get a ShamWow, because this is easier. Like, it looks so foolish. I don't know how to use a broom and a dustpan. So here's this broom dustpan combination thing that you can use. It's much simpler for y'all. Like, it's not fucking rocket science. Go watch PBS. Well, you can't do that now because Trump fucking fucked up PBS. God damn it. Man, but like, yeah, it's too many shows on network TV for you to fucking meander your fucking self over to fucking HBO or Max or Showtime or Cinemax or Skinemax, how we used to call it back in the day, and be like complaining and bitching about that, being like, I can't believe on this paid cable network they're showing titties. Well, what the fuck you expect? It's a paid service network. Go back to CBS. Go back watching fucking, like, if you want to watch something that is PG-13, then go look up PG-13 shit. That's it. But don't fucking see something that literally blatantly, everything literally blatantly says what it is on the fucking thing. Oh, this has graphic sexual nature. This has nudity. This has fucking harsh language. Blah, blah. And then be fucking mad and surprised. I can't believe this titty's being shown. I can't believe they're showing buttocks. Oh my god. Was that full frontal? I can't believe it. What the fuck? Like, I'm not going to go. Once again, I'm not going to go to a Pokemon convention and be on, like, every moment being like, oh, this is some bullshit. We need to cancel this shit. This shit needs to fucking go. I can't believe they doing this shit here. Why would they do it here? No, why the fuck am I here? If I don't like Pokemon, I'm not going to a Pokemon convention. It don't make no fucking sense. But I digress. I just look forward to the day where all this shit is done and everybody can go and do the things that they feel like they want to do, how they want to do it, without it having to be something that's going to be harmful to others. That's all I want. That's all I'm looking forward to. Or being surrounded by individuals who feel similar to me, who just want to have their piece of land, their peace of mind, their piece of peace, without causing any hurt feelings, any hurt emotions, any hurt physical attributes or anything to others, so that they can feel bigger or more superior because of the fact that they got to put somebody underneath their boot to make themselves feel better. Because you don't have to do that, colonizers. Just because of the fact that other races, especially black races, is getting money and getting more fucking influential, or getting into a society where, oh wait, we don't need y'all, doesn't mean that it's time for y'all to fucking get y'all boots on, get y'all guns out, and start fucking trying to kill black people. Because once again, we never needed y'all. Y'all needed us. And the really funny fact of the matter is, y'all didn't even need us. Y'all lazy pieces of shit ancestors just was lazy pieces of shit. And y'all still fucking thrive on that shit. And y'all fucking get mad when people fucking call that shit out. Lazy, good for nothing, non-seasoning using pieces of shit who burned in the fucking sunlight just like fucking vampires. You goddamn parasites. Fucking can't stand y'all. Fucking stop breathing. Just do us all a favor. I'm done. I'm just done. Like, it makes no sense why so many people have to fucking die because of parasites and colonizers. While these pieces of shit all want to complain and bitch over the same shit that we're complaining about, which is all we want is to be able to be at peace. That's all we want. I've never heard anybody say, yeah, all I want to do is be in debt and have somebody watching me, looking over my shoulder, micromanaging me, and living, eating fucking food that is not fucking real, or having fucking food that fucking spoils after like 4 days of fucking buying it from the fucking grocery store. I've never heard anybody fucking saying some dumb shit like that. Now, if that's their prerogative, that's their prerogative. It's not my journey, not my lion, not my circus. I don't care. But if that's your journey, go for it. I just know the majority of people that I talk to is literally, I just want to have peace of mind. I want to feel safe. I want my family to feel safe. I want my family, not even feel. I want to be safe, and I want my family to be safe. That's it. That's not saying me making sure my family's safe is taking a fucking Beretta and going out to a fucking school and shooting up a school, shooting up a church, shooting up a government facility. No, it's literally saying I don't want anybody coming on my fucking property fucking saying this and that and saying what I can or cannot do in the privacy of my own home or in the privacy of my own land. Like, if y'all want to grow up and have kids and work, go ahead. That's your prerogative. That's not what I want to do. And I will always make it a point to find ways for me to live as comfortably as I possibly can, because when I look at these pieces of shit that are in power, that are literally billionaires, trillionaires, thousandaires, or whatever, and all they do all fucking day is sit at their desk and look at their computer the same way I be sitting in my fucking chair looking at my goddamn TV. Only difference is they have a multi-conglomerate fucking portfolio of fucking stocks and fucking employees and fucking blah 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 to have other people work for them, to have them gain the fucking wealth that they're fucking getting, while the people working for them is making fucking pennies. No, that shit ain't fucking right. Fuck capitalism. Fuck Trump. Fuck ICE. Fuck this bullshit ass experiment called America. It failed. Get over it. Time for something new. That's it. This is, yeah. Episode 25, baby. I'm done. I'll see y'all next week. Yeah, have a good one. Because at this point, if y'all not listening, y'all never gonna listen. And I just look forward to communicating to this in the future to those who listen to this and be like, let's not go and follow in the footsteps of the yahoos that Troyiverse was talking about. Alright. Y'all have a good one. See y'all next week. Stay safe for all those who are in the know, for all those who are looking for some type of way to find some type of peace and solace. Continue doing the things that makes you feel comfortable. Keep doing the things that bring you peace. Keep doing the things that bring a smile to your face. Be around and with your loved ones that are supporting you, that show you the same love that you show them. To those who listen to you, those who you can talk to, those who you can listen to yourself. Find your tribe, find your people, find your soul family, find your peace. Stay safe. You're not alone. This has been a Troyiverse production.